Hi, I'm Nicole and I'll be discussing the campaign that I made for the NHS brief. And I'll be discussing how I came up with my strategy and the reasoning for it. So the NHS, as everyone probably already knows, stands for the National Health Service. It's a government-funded medical and healthcare service for everyone living in the UK. So just background for the brief. So the brief says that 1 in 3 adults drink too much alcohol, and 83% of them aren't aware that they're drinking too much alcohol, so meaning that they're kind of in denial, or they're not really aware and they need to be made aware. So the target market is people aged between 40 and 59 years old, and the purpose of the campaign is to get them to reduce their alcohol consumption by informing and educating them on harmful drinking levels, by changing their opinions and attitudes on drinking. So inexpensive methods will be used in order to meet the needs for the brief, the NHS brief. So I came up with a diagram to capture what the main person would look like in the campaign. So I came up with David. So David is a 50-year-old male. He's just a local in Cornwall. He has a family, wife and children. He cares about his family. So he has a beer at home every night when he comes back from work. He goes to the pub every weekend to socialise with his friends. He drinks too many units per week, but he isn't aware of it. He's been drinking all his life. He has an average job in life. So during the advertising branding module, I learned about creating an emotional connection as a marketer in order to influence the audience. I needed to use emotional intelligence to understand my consumers' minds in order to change their opinions. This led me to think about the relationship that NHS have with their customers. Since the target market already have a relationship with them, as everyone uses the healthcare service, it won't be hard to reach them. And the NHS already have a reputable and trusted image, so it'll be easier to influence the target market. So the content of the marketing materials that this made me decide to use in the campaign was developed by thinking how I can change someone's mind by using emotional content. So pulling on their heartstrings, making them shocked, making them not want to drink anymore. So this made me think, what will emotionally affect people in the older age group? So they're older, so I thought that they would be thinking more about their family rather than themselves. So they want to be healthy, to live and see their grandchildren grow up, their family, their wife. So I was thinking about David, and he cares for his family, so he'd be most likely be impacted by something about his family that connects him emotionally. So after also in the campaign, I was thinking that I needed to make the NHS seem approachable to people, feel like they can come to the NHS for help. So I thought I'd use content that let them know that the NHS are here and they can come to the NHS to sort out their drinking problem, trying to reduce their drinking. So I did some research into integrated marketing, and this made me realise that using different channels is the best way to reach consumers in different places and to mix together to keep it in everyone's mind. So in order to harness the audience, I completed research on my target market's age category. The data showed that they don't really use social media as much as they like things like newspapers and bus banners or articles in magazines that they can read rather than using the internet, because they're not really strong with the internet. So I also saw that the majority of social media that was used was Facebook, and there's millions and millions of more users every day. So I thought, maybe I'll use that as well, because that could reach the people who are on social media, and I can set it to demographics so it reaches the specific people that I want to reach. I also thought, because it's the NHS, they can use their own GP and hospitals to advertise flyers, possibly. So I thought about paid, owned and earned ownership advertising. So using paid to get earned ones. So paid could be newspaper, Facebook, bus banner, and the owned would be flyers set up in waiting rooms in hospitals, which could then turn to earned, which is if people share it or word of mouth speak about it. Then I did some research into alternatives to alcohol, so non-alcoholic and low-alcoholic beverages and the differences in them. If people had an alternative, then they might switch to the alternative rather than having alcohol. So I have friends who drink non-alcoholic beverages as well, and they said it tastes exactly the same, so some of them switch to having that rather than alcoholic beverages sometimes. So it's probably not been my target market's interest to stop drinking socially and going down to the local pub, because it's part of their habit, it's a part of their daily life. I want to show them they could go down to the pub, have low alcoholic, non-alcoholic beers and drinks as an alternative. Did some research on changing people's behaviours, and I found a study of an experiment which showed interesting results. So there was a study where there was 3 groups of people. One was given non-alcoholic and told they were given non-alcoholic. One was given alcoholic and told they were given alcoholic beverages. One was given non-alcoholic and told they were given alcoholic beverages. So at the end of the study, the people who had alcohol thought they had alcohol. The people who didn't have alcohol knew they didn't have alcohol. And the people who were given non-alcoholic but told they had alcoholic believed they had alcoholic because of the placebo effect and being in that environment. So this made me think, oh, maybe I'll do an event as well where we can get businesses to donate their non-alcoholic and alcoholic beverages, and they can see the different, and then give non-alcoholic and alcoholic beverages to everyone, have a mixture, and then see if people think they all had alcohol. And this could possibly change their mind if they couldn't see a difference in it, and this might make them change their consumption and want to use alternative. This can also help other brands by advertising the non-alcoholic brands, and this could also have an impact. If they're promoted more and more available, then people may use them. So I did a lecture on aesthetics, about people finding things appealing by beauty. This didn't really relate to my campaign as much because I'm not using beauty in order to persuade or influence people. But the only thing I'll say is that the image of the adverts need to look professional so that people trust it. The bold text images stand out so that people can read it, and put the NHS logo and stuff on there. So I've looked into the power of words. The power of words in the campaign does make a difference. Found this week's seminar very helpful and interesting, because the power of words is very influential. When you use short, impactful sentences and facts to really communicate the message and get it to stay in people's mind. Like, think, don't drink, we're here to help, it's not worth it. So my strategy, this came up to me making my strategy, which was the deliverables, newspaper, bus banner, Facebook post, and newspaper, bus banner, Facebook post, and the flyer, and also the event, the non-alcoholic alcoholic event. And as you can see on the PowerPoint, there's some of my deliverables I've come up with. So yeah, that's it really.